Well, I probably had more problem from chiropractors, both here in New Zealand and in the United States, than anybody else. I have many friends who are chiropractors. Many of them are professionally very astute. They just made the wrong choice in their professional career. But when I see these people at the same meetings I go to, North American Spine Society, International Society for the Study of the Lumbar Spine, they're reading the same literature as you and I. And I have nothing but respect for many of them. So I always have held out the olive branch. And today, my school of physical therapy in America is the largest physical therapy school in the country and the only private one. And we have a number of chiropractors at this point, numbers in the scores who are applying to come to our school to earn a physical therapy degree. Because chiropractic today is in a turmoil. Now, if we go back in the history of chiropractic, it believed initially that the cause of all disease and the treatment of all disease was to correct a sublux vertebra, a vertebra out of place, pressing on a nerve, interfering with the vital nerve forces to the body and thus causing all manner of disease and discomfort. You can prevent stroke with manipulation, you can treat stroke with manipulation, if you take chiropractic theory to its strictest point. But over the last 50 years of chiropractic, there's been two definite divisions. Those who stick with that straight theory that I just gave you, and those who recognize that, well, there's value in that, but there's value in everything else that's physical therapy as well. You treat the extremities as well as the spine and so on. And so this division has continued with two distinct societies in America. But as chiropractic spreads through the world, it's mainly spread in the straight philosophy, which is simpler to instruct, got more appeal, and makes you second class to nobody, makes you a specialist in just this faith system. But we've entered a new age this last decade, evidence-based practice. You hardly heard that term 10 years ago, 15 years ago. You didn't hear it at all, if I'm not mistaken. But now with evidence-based and the fact that payment, Medicare payments, social payments, workers' comp, whatever you like, will be based on evidence increasingly. Chiropractors don't have the evidence for that theory. And so many of the schools of chiropractic now are shifting rapidly towards evidence-based practice. And as they do move from one end of the spectrum to the other, they're becoming more and more like physical therapists. And while I can't ever see the professions emerging, because the hierarchy would never allow that, it's too much vested interest, we are getting closer. And therefore the competition gets stiffer, because we are now competing head-on with them, or they with us, but we're in a better position as physiotherapists than they are, because we have the whole scope of musculoskeletal, plus we have manual and manipulative therapy. They have manual and manipulative therapy, and the rest of the balance is not quite there in most of the schools. So the battle continues. In many states in America, and two states, we really cannot practice manipulation as physical therapists very well at all. They have stopped that. But of the last 23 battles we've had in the last 6 years, I think, or 7 years more truly, in the United States, we've won 21 out of 23, and the two that we lost were insignificant. So we have turned that tide. Chiropractic in no way can limit our practice. We're becoming more powerful in this area, and so I think the battles will start decreasing as evidence-based becomes the answer. Even legislators are aware of what that term means. So the politics of licensure are meaning a little less than the evidence-based today. So we've won the battle with chiropractic, and their numbers are stagnating, and physical therapy numbers are growing. When I came to America in 1966, I believe, and I can't say this for sure, but there were about 8,600 physical therapists in the American Physical Therapy Association. Yet there were 50,000 chiropractors. Now today the number is about 75 to 80,000 chiropractors and 220,000 physical therapists. Our problem as a profession in physiotherapy isn't gaining public recognition. Everybody knows what a chiropractor is, and everybody knows they treat backs. But people don't know what a physiotherapist is, because we treat so many things. We're in cardiopulmonary, pediatrics, geriatrics, we're in spine, we're in foot, we're in knee. We're in so many different areas that we don't have a clear definition of who we are. And I think that's what we need very strongly. In my Macmillan address this past year, I said 10 things we have to do as a profession. And one of them was to come up with a clear identity that we can market, so that when I ask a physical therapist, define it for me, they can tell me what it is. That, for instance, they are the musculoskeletal specialists, or they're the specialists of movement. It's restoration, it's enhancement. Something simple that can roll off the tongue of every physio and physical therapist, and that we market, because that we have to do. We lack that key identity. And I think it hurts us in legislative issues. It may hurt you in this country not having a clear identity, but everyone knows what a chiropractor is. So the battles have been fine with chiropractic. We've won them as far as I'm concerned. We're cruising comfortably now, and I think to a better relationship with them.